Hello, Mark Pomugera here again, number 2 programming fundamentals coursework. So for number 2, we were required to write a program that allows a user to input a positive integer and then displays all its divisors in decreasing order. The program should repeat this process as long as the user wishes to continue. And this is how I did it. So I started with include IOStream just to allow us use cin to input data and cout to output or display the data on our screen. Next, I used using namespace std statement so that I don't have to type std and colons before every cout. And yeah, next I used the function to print the divisors of the number in decreasing order, and starts with this output, divisors of the number in decreasing order. Then I use the for loop which initializes I equaling to the number which is to be input. I must be greater or equal to 1, and I in the decrement, I use the decrement to reduce I. Inside the for loop, I used if the number is divisible by I, that means when divided by I, the remainder is 0, then the program should cout or output I. The next it returns, I used return static cast a double the number which has been input, which returns the largest divisor, which is always the number itself. Int main, which is the main function. In the main function, I started with initializing and declaring my variables, which are input, where it stores the user input, character to store the response, y, and n, the response of the user. So the program first will output a message, welcome. This program will display the divisors of any positive integers you enter. Then I use the while loop to collect the response. Like, the loop allows the user to repeat this process, the whole entire process of inputting the number to check its divisors, within the loop, as I said, it is stored in input, the input of the user. I used another while loop, and this while loop will validate if the input is a positive integer. So, and if it's not, and this is the condition, input, it has to be less or equal to 0, and if it doesn't satisfy this, then it will cout is not positive integer. Please try again. Then next, I call the function which I started with, this one. I call it to print divisors and get the largest divisor by cout. The largest divisor is, then largest divisor, as I had put it here, here, and which is the number itself, and I ended that line. Next, the user will ask if the user want to check another integer, and it will see out this message: would you like to check another integer and then provide the options y and n. The next while loop, still under the main function. In the while loop, in the first while loop I used this while loop. The next while loop will validate the user's response, whether they have chosen y or n, saying response if it is not y, capital Y, and if the response is not lowercase y, and the response is not capital N or lowercase n, the program will see out please respond with y or lowercase y. For yes, the program will output n, capital N or lowercase n for no. Then if they select n, because this will continue as the while function, the starting while function dictates this one, because this will continue for until the user selects n for no. And if the user eventually selects n for no, then they will quit the program, and this message goodbye will be output. So here is the program actually working. If I compile, it shows zero errors and 0 warnings, and when I click this, it will output, it will run the program. So it will say welcome. This program will display the divisors of any integer you enter. So if I enter an integer like 586, it will display the divisors, as you can see, and the divisors of 586 in decreasing order. So it will display them up to 1, then it will show the largest divisor is 586, and then next will ask, would you like to check another integer, and put for you y n. When you press y with a lowercase or uppercase and press enter, it will say please enter a positive integer, because the loop says it has to go until I press n. So if I put another one, 40898, it will put all the integers and repeat the process until I press n. So this time I pressed capital N. When I press enter, it will say goodbye, and that's how the program runs.